My name is Bob McBride, and I have the great privilege of being a principal here at Neuqua Valley High School. That is an honor, and our job tonight is to give honor to the 210 students that are assembled before you. First, I just want to welcome everyone here, parents. You're your students' first teachers, and you send us the best students in the world, so we're grateful for what parents and grandparents and step-parents and people who raise children send, not only in your parenting, but in your commitment to this community and to this school. We can't do it without you. So thank you very much. I want to welcome all the students that are here, and I want to thank you for being with us this evening, and any community members that are here joining us as well. I'd like to take particular thanks to welcome all the school board members, and we have a number of district office personnel that are just here to join us and just to be present with us as we honor these students. We have our board president, Mike Razak, is in the assembly today. We've got board members Kathy Peel, Susan Deming, Lori Donahue, and Justin Karubas. Could you give them a big round of applause for the volunteerism? Sometimes very few people know that Board of Education members are volunteers. They're just like any of you who volunteer for the boosters or PTSA. They just have incredibly long hours. They had a board meeting on Monday night, and here they are tonight. So I'm eternally grateful for them and for their presence and for being present. I'd also like to welcome our school superintendent, our district superintendent, Karen Sullivan, is here. So could you please give Dr. Sullivan a big round of applause? Another tireless person working with our district many nights. We could not do it without her. Of course, all of our board members and Dr. Sullivan. I love to get them up on stage and maybe have them say a few words, but they just want to be a part of the audience, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate just being here and being with us. Also, I would like to welcome Assistant Superintendent Dr. Lewis Lee. Poor fellow, he had to start his day with me, and he's ending his day with me, but what a great help and just a great support to everything we do at the high school level. Could you please give Dr. Lee a big round of applause? As well as two very influential people that help us every day. Director of High School Core Curriculum, Mr. Mike Purcell is here, and our District 204 Director of Educational Equity, Mrs. Yvette Dubiel is here as well. Could you give them a very big round of applause? Thank you very much. These are just people that I can't get my job done, our school can't get its job done without their helping hands every day. I also, again, want to thank Neuqua Valley Music, and especially Maestro Kevin Kosabayashi, who directed these fine students for his work. Yeah, let's give Neuqua Valley Music a big round of applause. Let me tell you just a little bit about the agenda for this evening before I frame up for you why we have gathered here and why we think this award is so prestigious as we begin the award season in the spring, why we think your student has great honor bestowed on her or him, and tell you just a little bit about the night and frame up this evening, which is an auspicious date indeed, and a tragic date in our country's history as well, but an appropriate date for a gathering like this. Tonight I'll share just a few remarks about what's brought us to the Neuqua Honors. We will then, without further ado, award the Student Growth, the Service and Civics Award, and the Equity Award. Some of my colleagues who are on our equity committee will be readers, and they'll introduce what those awards mean. We're very, very lucky to have one of our esteemed social workers here tonight, Mrs. Pam Witt, who I respect both as a professional and as a fellow parent. We both live in Wheaton, and she's far along as a parent than me. I'm just raising some high school students who are going through the same high school her children went through. She's an inspiration, and we've asked her to be our faculty speaker this evening, and she's a member of our equity committee. Then we'll award the Leadership Award, the Contributions to Neuqua Valley Award, and then the Leslie Bauman Spirit Award. And we'll wrap it all up with a fabulous student speaker. I am not joking when I say this. I hope she is my future physician, future doctor. I'm not joking you when I say that. And her name is Allyson Amegashie, and she is up on the stage with me right now. Finally, I owe a huge amount of thanks to our equity committee, an outstanding committee that I have the honor to work with. And our equity committee, it exists in order to ensure that we are an inclusive and fair institution. The role of our committee every year is to look at the practices that we have at our school and to make sure that we are a school that is fair, that is equitable, and that is inclusive, and that creates a place for everyone who walks into these walls. We are a public school, so if you live in our attendance area, you are coming to our school. So we want to embrace everyone. In particular, we have a small committee comprised of people who really kind of stage this, and that committee is comprised of Karen Calvert, who's here, Margaret Onken, who will be ushering, John Gelsomino, who's a reader, Dipti Vaida, who is also a reader, my assistant, Tony Smith, who works tirelessly. While I was in Italy with Neuqua Valley Band, she was making the Neuqua Honors happen over spring break. And then also our financial secretary, Maria Monahan. Could you give that committee, and especially the two assistants, a huge round of applause? They're very dear, very dear. Also, our equity committee of Montrine Johnson, Pam Witt, parent Ruby Chawa, Christina Krensick, James Thornton, Stacy Welton, Pat Andreas, Lauren Sack, Amy Sherman, Adam Johnson, Alex Taylor, Erica Pavlik, and out there helping to hand out programs, Shar Hadley, and a new member tonight, Dave Ricca, who was nice enough to just jump in and help us out. Give these guys a big round of applause. They're an excellent group of human beings. As we begin our ceremony, I have to answer the question I was asked the most when I phoned your home and I emailed you. And I did, I'm not joking you, I had a few parents who contacted me and said, "You must have made a mistake." I'm not joking, that's true. My assistant can vouch for me. I'm not making fun of anyone either. But I would say to those parents, and I said to those parents, sometimes we see things in your children and they behave in ways at school that they might not behave at home. And I certainly understand that, having two high school students too. So you really should embrace that we see something in your student today that is as much of a part of them as who they are in other realms of their life. But in the run-up to this ceremony, people would ask, what is the Neuqua Honors? And I think it's my job to help you understand what the Neuqua Honors are, and why would something like our Equity Committee sponsor and steward the Neuqua Honors? These are awards that are bestowed on students by staff members, and I think it is just the most important thing that can happen. It happened in my family just yesterday. My daughter was nominated by a teacher for an honor, and that means a lot to a parent. Every single one of these students had a staff member or multiple staff members who recognized them and nominated them, and that should be very meaningful for you, that another adult sees something in your child and nominated them in the 6 categories in your program and that I just mentioned. Before kind of digging into the ceremony, I want to just permit me a moment to acknowledge the historic relevance of this day and what many in our nation are observing, both a sad date and a day to remember. It seems a perfect coincidence that we celebrate the Neuqua Honors on the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. 50 years ago, right about now, the nation was learning of Dr. King's death. And many of you who lived during that period, I was a 2-year-old, but I have memories of that period because I lived close to the west side of Chicago. You remember that our nation blew up in rage, and it began a year of rage in 1968. It's a moment that gives us the perfect time and place to reflect on Dr. King's legacy. And I do so because the students that we're about to honor are legacy livers. In many ways, they are here tonight because they live out daily the call to dignity, to decency, to fairness, equality, diversity, and respect that Dr. King devoted his life to, that he lost his life for, that he demanded of our society as Americans. Dr. King, in his lifetime, often quoted the following important quote in our founding documents: "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal." And he oftentimes felt that that expression from the Declaration of Independence, he described as a check, as a promissory note. And he oftentimes said in his speeches, "Please, America, do not default on that check. Do not render that check insufficient funds. Pay it off." He challenged us as Americans to live up to that ideal stated in our founding document that declared our own independence. And what I would say to you is, these are check payers. They pay the bill every day, these students right here, every single day, the way that they treat their peers, their teachers, their school community, and the way they treat themselves. They pay the check of dignity, respect, and honor. So we're here to honor them. And the way that they do that is inherent in Dr. King's teachings was the belief that you accept people as they are for who they are. No questions asked. That race, creed, color, gender was a secondary concern to being a human being. And these are students who have arrived in their lives, young as they are. They get it. They get it. They understand that. And they make our school community a better place every single day that they're in it. They say to other people and they say to themselves, you're good enough. You're good enough just as you are. And that's an amazing thing. So why our equity committee to steward this? We see you. We are the committee charged with seeing you. It is important to be a school that values equity, inclusion, and celebration, but it is equally important, maybe even more important, to tell you, students, that we honor them, we see you, we see what you do. We have to tell it and we have to declare it, and this ceremony is about declaring it to you and asking you to be proud of it. We're going to begin the awards in a few minutes. And before we begin the awards, I want to just tell you a few things. One, we have a little process, the student growth people, you get to model it, where you're going to line up and we're going to usher you up. And in a moment, we'll get you up on your feet and you'll go all the way back and you'll be in a long line here so that we can honor you and have you walk across the stage. And you guys get to model for everybody how it goes. So thank you very much. You will come up and you're going to receive a certificate. And don't be mad at Dr. McBride when you sit down, because your certificate will be empty. There will be nothing in it, okay? You'll say, what is this outrageous here at Neuqua Valley? The reason why we do that is so that you can return to your station that you came from, and your certificate will be there, but it's the way that we deliver to you what your nominator wrote about you. That's really important to get that in your hands. So you'll leave when you process out, and you'll go get that, and you'll be able to come back and take pictures and things like that. And then finally, you'll receive a pin. And all of the board member and district office dignitaries who came, I asked them to wear this pin. I'm going to ask you to wear this pin tomorrow. And the reason why I'm going to ask you to wear this pin is to declare yourself for all the things I described, all of the ideals I described. Wear it with pride. Show it. Show your badge. I really would challenge you to do this. And please return here after you get your certificate at your station for pictures. You can come up on stage, you know, whatever you need, okay? Without further ado, we're going to get into it, and we're going to award our very first group of students. Mr. John Gelsomino will begin, and Ms. Dipti Vida and Ms. Karen Calvert will assist me. Here comes Ms. Onken to usher you. Mr. Gelsomino, take it away, and we are going to get ready to award our first couple of awards. Thanks so much. Could you give all of these students a big round of applause? And could you please hold your applause until all students are awarded?
The Neuqua Valley Student Growth Award goes to a student who demonstrates perseverance and resilience in the face of adversity, be it personal or academic, and shows marked educational growth and discernible maturation. And these are the nominees for the Neuqua Valley Student Growth Award. Abby Granado. Claire Malinowski. Zoe Winter. Natalie Aguilar. Ashley Scar. And yes, you can please hold your applause to the end. Thank you. Kaylin Yonan. Amy Lesniak. Julia Leese. Aaron Keener. Jacob Meyer. Amelia Fuller. Devana Brockman. Jonathan Ameskita. Samantha Neruda. Lauren Crone. Olivia Herzberg. Gabriela Sevilla. Madeline Van Cleve. Danielle Hopkins. Riva Narsana. Emily Garcia. Irene Kapsis. Jennifer Kavina. Lauren Hughes. Megan Richards. Kayla Kelp. Hannah Singer. Tao Zhang. Yu Su. Steve Yen. G. Lisa. Michael Kleka. Drew Massey. Noah Espinoza. Chetan Galaga. Noor Farag. Nikhil Poti. Sarah Burke. Camila Rodriguez. Jessica Bednar. Nika Deneve. Maya Askam. Nilufpala Norella. Michael Ree. Ryan He. Ria Dingara. Elijah Pierce. Maxwell Siri. Connor Flynn. Shoah Jamo. And Ava Lewandowski. How about a round of applause for the student growth winners? Will the students nominated for the Neuqua Valley Service and Civics Award please move to the back and line up to the right? The Neuqua Valley Service and Civics Award honors a student who has demonstrated a consistent level of service to the school and community. The award recipient displays a high level of integrity, energy, and selflessness, with a strong commitment to support programs that benefit the welfare of others. Kavya Veramudi. Jesse Bailey. Rahel Javed. Nora Schneider. Emma Litzer. Sarah Jang. Salma Farag. Sarah Rusin. Bryn Okan. Hannah Morrow. Darla Andoni. Haley Herring. And Maria Patricia Agnes. I'd like to introduce from our math department, Ms. Dipti Vaidya.
Good evening. Are you guys having fun? Okay, I am also. I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, I'm going to be announcing the Neuqua Valley Equity Award, and I would like all the recipients to stand up and line up. The Neuqua Valley Equity Award honors a student who has demonstrated actions to advance equity and inclusion. This student is committed to school-wide diversity and has furthered efforts to promote respect in our entire community. Sarah Block. Samantha Nelson. Jessica Padilla. Ella Novachi. Ramsha Khurshid. Hania Fatima. Nicole Patel. Madeline Kornblum. Soha Khatib. Giselle Cruz. Saranya Yagapan. Hania Sultan. Alyssa Buzain. Lauren Voorhees. Athena Bulowski. Elizabeth Abbott. Asia Graham. Amina Ilanese. Ashley Purino. Margaret Peeler. Jackson Mayer. Sarah Ward. Porter Hansen. Arneet Gurtata. Mansi Gupta. Olivia Maxwell. Cameron Cyrus. I am honored to invite the faculty speaker, Ms. Pam Witt, who is a social worker at Neuqua Valley, to give some of her precious words to you.
Thank you, Dipti. And good evening, Neuqua Honors students, parents, relatives, and friends. I'm thrilled to be able to address all of you tonight, because this night of honoring students for something other than grades, test scores, sports accomplishments, or musical talents is my favorite night. And I believe I speak for our entire equity committee of 18 members strong when I say that. What exactly is Neuqua Honors? What makes this night of honoring all of you different from other award nights or rallies that are so plentiful here at Neuqua Valley High School? There was no objective, quantifiable data that we used to nominate any of you for this award tonight. One of our committee members and art teacher, Mr. Adam Johnson, perfectly captured the essence of Neuqua Honors when he said this: "It is critical as an educational institution to recognize and celebrate human qualities that are beyond measurement. When grades and decimal points are forgotten, what we remember are faces and people who moved us, who inspired us. How can we measure the size of someone's heart? How can we truly thank someone who is selfless and giving?" Let me ask you something, students. Do you know why you are being honored tonight? It's as simple as two things. Number one, because you are a good person. Your parents, teachers, coaches, and probably most adults in your life likely talk about the importance of being a good person, or remind you all the time to just be a good person. But what does that term really mean? What makes a good person? It means this: you are kind and compassionate. You demonstrate empathy. You go above and beyond in helping others. You somehow stay positive when your life may be anything but. You lend a hand, stand up for what's right, volunteer your time and talent, and take responsibility for your actions. And I could go on with this list. Other committee members added these thoughts about good person characteristics. You excel at treating others fairly, with dignity and with respect. You possess life skills such as leadership, empathy, resilience, and cultural proficiency. You persevere through life struggles and inspire others around you. The second reason you are being honored tonight is because each of you stand out. Did you realize that your teachers and other staff members appreciate these and value these good person traits? Or that they even recognized these qualities in you? In a school of 3,584 students, you are one of only 214 students nominated by your teachers. As English teacher and Equity Committee member, Mrs. Stacy Welton so poetically stated at last year's Neuqua Honors Night, and Dr. McBride said it again tonight, we see you. In a day and age where a lot of people live their lives feeling as though they are not good enough, talented enough, or worthy enough of recognition because how the media glamorizes everything, Neuqua Honors is our way of saying not only do we see you, but you are good enough, talented enough, and worthy enough to be recognized for your contribution to our community. At this point, you might be a little curious about the good person traits you or the person sitting next to you demonstrated in order to be seen by your teachers. I've chosen a few nominations to share using the exact words of Neuqua teachers as they describe their nominee. This honoree is a daily reminder of why I love teaching. She chooses positivity even when times are difficult. She has a beautiful spirit that reminds me that attitude is everything. This person speaks out against evils that plague our society and inspires other young people to be courageous as well. This student is one of the most passionate students I have ever had in class. It is also obvious that he is a very caring young man. He may have a different view or opinion than someone else, but acknowledges they have a right to be heard as well. He makes it a real joy to teach because you can see he really cares. I wish I could share the nominations of all of you, but there just isn't time tonight. In closing, I have no advice to offer. You have already proven that you are the heart and soul of Neuqua Valley High School. You embody the spirit of a genuine Wildcat. So, I'll leave you instead with the words of Chicago native, singer, songwriter, and producer, Chance the Rapper. He said this, "Something I try to instill in others is to just be a good person. It's a decision you make 1,000,000 times a day. But if you just keep trying, good stuff comes to you in an ordained way." Congratulations, Neuqua Honors students. You make us proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sweet. That was really inspiring, even to me. I feel that, yes, being a nice person is the most important thing in this world. Besides this heart beating, that is important. Yes. So now I'm going to announce the Neuqua Valley Leadership Award. All those who are the recipients, please stand up and line up. The Neuqua Valley Leadership Award is given in recognition of an individual who motivates and inspires those around them to contribute towards the achievement of a goal. This leader displays dedication and commitment to Neuqua Valley High School. Set standards, really, really high standards of integrity by leading through example and maintains high personal standards. Allyson Amegashie. Joseph Matusik. Mark Gronowski. Patrick Hoffman. Matthew Apple. Samuel Jordan. Bria Whitaker. Kirsten Alamba. Tyler Beck. Thank you. Hunter Danton. Thomas Galvin. Daniel Sheen. Sijo Joseph. Jade Kapua. Madeline Cox. Kristen Spires. Imani Porter. Thank you. Anisha Shelly. Eleanor Jocalone. Julian Celentano. David Botos. Luke Washburn. Uthman Khilji. Karina Orozo. Lexis Rich. Lily Giver. Sean Fu. Hari Sridhara. Joseph Kennedy. Thank you. Jake Pricer. Thank you. Alexis Aleman. Max Shivi. Emma Whitekin. Shriya Haldipurkar. Katrina Subramaniam. Amy Worley. Erna Dervishi. Nikhil Gupta. Joyce Zhao. Now let me introduce you to the next person, my colleague Karen Calvert.
Good evening. My name is Karen Calvert. I'm in the World Language Department, and I am happy to be the next one to read the awards. Our next award is the Neuqua Valley Contributions Award. So would everybody who was nominated for that award please stand and move to the side. The Neuqua Valley Contributions Award goes to a student who has been involved giving time and talents unselfishly to our school, Neuqua Valley High School. This can be in any area of the school, from academics to athletics to music. The Contributions to Neuqua Award. Duncan Fox. Nathan French. Abigail Deward. Clara McCusick. Rowan Viswanathan. Jamari Chu. Alexander Farnes. Elijah Darden. Vasant Fong. Kashad Gaskin. Tariq Frazier. Caitlin Baki. Ashley Stotz. Charlene Tan. Nolan George. Corey Chung. Napur Aroskar. Riley Hemingway. Charles Hanneman. Ria Jindal. Alexandra Van Cleve. Catherine Keenan. Nathan Koska. Bryce Meredith. Eric Mitchell. And Naomi Keene. Congratulations to these students. I also have the privilege of reading the final award, which is the Leslie Bauman Spirit Award. If you are nominated for the Leslie Bauman Spirit Award, would you please stand to line up? Before I read the description of the Leslie Bauman Spirit Award, I want to just say a couple words about who Leslie Bauman was. Leslie was an English teacher at Neuqua Valley, and she was on the original subcommittee when we created the Neuqua Honors 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. It was us as the subcommittee. We came up with the awards. We wrote the words for these descriptions, and these are Leslie's words. So I just feel like this is one of the most meaningful awards of the evening, because really, this is what Leslie had to say, and it really just embodies what kind of person Leslie was. So, the Leslie Bauman Spirit Award. This award honors the memory of English teacher Leslie Bauman and the NVHS student whose participation in a variety of events lifts school spirit by encouraging others to be enthusiastically engaged. Contagious energy, good sportsmanship, and wildcat allegiance are key characteristics of this recipient. Annalise Walker. Emily Brewer. Natty Pumnugget. Joseph Cercello. Jack Bella. Jack Townsend. Raul Siripuram. Chase Calcaterra. Asmal Kamani. Bridget Itter. Tori Prado. Sung Lee. Jacqueline Groves. Lauren Vagley. Catherine Bravkovich. Chloe Long. Remley Hertzberg. Alexander Roble. Davian Jackson. Jonathan Purnell. Christopher Weimer. Andrew Prozorovsky. Tyland Levine. Jordan Matthews. Alex Senanu.
Like all things, we want to center things on students, and we felt it was really appropriate to have one of the members of this class of Neuqua Honors just wrap things up. Sometimes it sounds like I'm joking when I say this, that I want Allyson Amegashie to be my future physician, but 2 years ago, I was very lucky to see her as part of a AXO competition, which is sponsored by the NAACP, and it's the Olympics of the Mind. And she was presenting on health and medical, and blew my mind. I said to myself, who is this 15-year-old posing as a 27-year-old. I mean, literally, at this presentation, I would have, given her a degree in medicine. And she's just coming off winning another gold medal in the DuPage AXO competition in health and medicine, and she'll be representing AXO and our school, I'd like to say, in national competition again this year. So could you give a warm welcome to somebody who definitely deserves a leadership award, Miss Allyson Amegashie.
Thank you, Dr. McBride. Yes, I am Allyson Amegashie, and I am a junior at this school. Before we close, I'd just like to make a couple remarks about this event. So, to my fellow awardees, each one of us sits here tonight to represent something great, a group of individuals who have shown their determination and efforts to make positive impacts on our school. My experience with receiving an award may be similar to many others, in the sense that being recognized for such merits can indicate to students that their actions are being acknowledged by those around them. With over 3,000 students, it can sometimes feel as if our attempts to make a difference, either inside or outside of school, aren't noticed. But the Neuqua Honors Awards prove that your accomplishments have been noticed and do matter. In this room, we all come from different backgrounds, from different families, and different lives. But despite these differences, in each one of us, we possess the drive to strive for greatness. We are a group of people who look past these differences, and in doing so are able to provide a positive and supportive environment for those around us. Each and every one of us should be extremely proud of ourselves for going above and beyond expectations. When I look out into this crowd, I see a group of movers and shakers, people who will be able to change the world, whether it's through equity, through growth, through leadership, through civics, through safety, through community service, and contributions to this school. The fact that we all have been recognized should aid in continuing the behaviors and other things we have done to get us here tonight. I feel that it is extremely important to use this as a form of motivation to benefit not only ourselves, but those around us. Because while you may not know it, your actions might have inspired someone else to contribute to the Neuqua community just as you have. The domino effect that this creates to the existence of the values that makes Neuqua the school that it is. It is crucial that each one of us continues these commendable habits, because each day we add to the positivity at our school, we make it an even greater day to be a part of Neuqua Valley. Thank you.
Thank you, Allyson, right there. In closing, I want to just thank our whole community for being here, and I really want to return to, I can't do a better job than Pam Witt. I always say in gatherings like this to take the long view, and I'd ask every adult in here the last time you were asked your high school grade point average, your ACT score or SAT score, and if you walked into your professional, personal, or friend space and you told everybody about it, probably people would think that you're rather strange, lacking humility, or just bringing up an extraneous fact about a bygone era in your life. I think you know as adults that you got to prove it every day, and you're only as good as your last conversation and the way that you treated the last person you interacted with. And so I can't think of anything better to do than to raise these young people up and to acknowledge the good that they've done for our community and the way that they build a more inclusive and dignified place called school, especially at a time when there's so much tumult in our country right now related to schools and concern about safety. Nothing will ever make a school safer than its students. Nothing will make a school safer than its students. When I come to school, You make me feel safe. So thank you. Can we give these guys one big round of applause? So here's what we're going to do. We are going to allow them to recess out. Now you get to model, because the first row is going to go first, and the second row is going to go second, the third row is going to go third. And if you can return to your station, and once you find, you're going to find your award certificate, but also be sure to look underneath, because the nomination from the person who sent you here today is there. And then once you have that, be sure to get your coat from room C101. But everybody is welcome to come on back, to meet up with your parents and family in the auditorium lobby, to come up on stage if you want to take pictures, if you want to celebrate a little bit. So without further ado, let's let these guys leave, and then we'll just meet them in the auditorium lobby. Thank you for being here tonight and for giving us a great ceremony. We really appreciate it.